Well, as you guys can see, I'm still in the old school caddy out here. It's just easier that way. I've got some sick kids in the house, and I don't want everybody's whole life to stop just so I can do these videos. But your life should stop. And for a split second of that life, you should hit subscribe, tap the bell, leave me a comment. I want to know what you guys think of this controversy with the turkesterone. I think there's a deeper meaning behind a lot of the negative thoughts you're seeing shared about this. I believe that from this whole situation, there's been like a shroud removed, not just from a few guys in the industry that maybe you looked up to, but from the industry as a whole. I mean, just finding out that the same supplier will be supplying the supplement to two guys who have different formulas and all of that. We probably deep down want to believe that these guys are standing there in a lab coat next to some scientists and kind of picking and choosing what gets thrown into their formula, and that's not really the case. These guys are, obviously going to go to a big lab. They're going to tell these guys, they're going to tell these companies, here's what I want, here's what I want to pay for it. We know that as adults here, but it takes some of the mystery away, to find out, like, well, wait a minute, do they all got the same supplier, or are either one of them doing anything different than the next guy? Is my guy that I trust more? Is there even a reason for that? This is one of those, like, don't meet your idols type of situations, because, say what you want about Greg. I know that he's extremely polarizing for people, but Derek, I feel like everybody gives Derek the utmost level of credibility, and he's so scientifically minded. I mean, he's got such a mind for hormones and chemicals and the processes within the body of building muscle. And I think a lot of people feel kind of like betrayed by this. Like, what does he mean he used that lab to test this stuff when they've had a bad reputation? And what do you mean he's using the same supplier as Greg? And what do you mean he was mistaken on something? He's the guy I turn to for this type of information. And is he just another guy that was like, yeah, give him whatever, give me my money? I don't think that's the case. I think that that's how people are taking it, because we do tend to idolize people, even if it's just so much as to be able to say, okay, I'm justifying me spending this money and trying this supplement. And the way I'm justifying it is, this guy's an expert. You got to check this guy out, and he says to try it. As far as turkesterone itself, I know this is going to hurt the supplement in general. It doesn't matter which manufacturer makes it. It's hurting. It's going to hurt the supplement, because one of the first and longest comments you see in any of these videos that are about the situation is a guy going on and on about how turkesterone doesn't have any proof of working. It's all anecdotal. Told you, it's BS. Blah blah blah. Like, everybody wants to act like they know things that even scientists don't know. But anyways, so it's hurting the supplement itself. There's nothing from the third-party testing that Nootropics Depot did that says turkesterone doesn't work. It says these two manufacturers' supplements are weak as fuck. They're underdosed. They don't have in them what they're supposed to have. Let's get that out of our minds, that turkesterone is fucking useless. We don't want to do that. There's been a lot of stuff in the past that was abandoned for new science and, forgotten about. Now it's being brought back because we realize, like, wow, that's extremely efficacious. Like, it would work for me. Why haven't I heard of this? And it's because, well, at some point somebody said something else is better, or somebody kind of discredited it, so it got buried in the annals of bodybuilding supplements, and people forgot all about it. I have a few in mind when I'm saying that, but it's a surprise as far as what's being brought back into the industry that I'm personally going to be reviewing and trying. But anyways, back to the turkesterone. It worked for me. And as far as Derek's goes, like, everyone seems to have it locked in their head now that, well, his stuff didn't work. It wasn't in there. It was snake oil, blah, blah, blah. They didn't test every batch that his company's ever made. I believe that there was a significant amount of turkesterone in the stuff I used a few months back. I did keep the same diet. I did keep the same training. If anything, I slacked on both of those a tiny bit. And I lost weight, gained muscle, and definitely gained strength. It worked. Now, can you trust that it's going to have in it what it's supposed to from this point on? I don't blame you if you don't. Now, I have had better results from the Black Forest Turkesterone. About double I got from Derek's. And see that the interesting thing about that is like, well, is the Black Forest one double what Derek's is according to Derek's label, or was mine lower dosed? And if it would have been dosed properly, would it have given me the same results as the Black Forest one? And I don't know. The science behind turkesterone and how and why it would work still makes complete sense. I'm not just going to throw that out the window because a couple of guys, a few batches by a few of the more popular brands were, bunk. Maybe a good thing about the Black Forest one is that they don't really have like influencers. Sure, they have some popular and qualified people who are kind of pushing their product, but they don't have an influencer to where the influencer is the brand. They don't have a guy who has millions of followers for doing other things in the fitness industry, and all of a sudden he's like, try my turkesterone. It's the only one that's great.